The common earthworm can consume 1/3 of their body weight in a single day. They have no eyes, but are sensitive to vibrations, and they come in all sizes.
Now there's an earthworm in Australia, 1 inch, a little more than an inch in diameter, and grows to be like 10 to 12 feet long. It looks like a snake. The average earthworm, after about a year, is probably 6 to 8 inches long. We used to catch them when I was a boy to use to go fishing. But if you try to grab them, they can go in reverse. So they can not only crawl forward, they can go in reverse and pull back into their hole. Well, that's marvelous. They basically turn over the earth, aerate the earth, and fertilize the earth. And you would say, well, how do they do that? Well, an earthworm literally spits on the dirt in front of it, and that softens it up. And if it can't push through, it'll just eat it. And its nose comes to just a point, a fine point. They'll stick it in the finest little crack, and then they want to start pushing into that crack to expand the dirt. So they have little organs inside themselves that push out. And they can literally push out 1.54 atmospheres, somebody measured. Then, in order to push in, they have little anchors. When they're crawling, those anchors might be hidden, tucked in little tucks. But when they want to move, they pop those out, and then in segments, they expand and contract here, and they can move ahead, pull them in. That way, they can move.
When you actually tug on a worm, those hairs will come out and like anchor itself in the ground.
I read a couple places where some evolutionists are talking about earthworms, and these little anchors that they shoot out on their sides are like little tufts of hair. And so they say that the primordial earthworms were evolving along, and they're losing their fur coat. Why would an earthworm need a fur coat in the first place? And secondly, where's the evidence for that? All they have are these little things that have a function. They pull them along. Why do we have to say they must have come from something that had a fur coat? Moles under the ground will eat these little earthworms, and many times the mole will bite off their head. Because once they bite off their head, they don't crawl, but they can stay alive. And so they'll stay alive down there, and then over the winter months, the mole will eat them, but some of them he doesn't get around to eating. And in time, it regenerates its head, and then it can just crawl away.
And they actually have the ability to squeeze off those muscles and give the tail instead of the whole thing, and then regenerate.
So what a marvelous little thing an earthworm is, that God made it so that you can chop it in 3 pieces and it can regenerate itself, even its head.